Hey everybody! Hello, and welcome to the recording of the Rufus. Well, that's the Redeeming Features cast now. I almost went back to our old podcast, Christian. That would be terrible.
Hey.
I'm going to work on actually getting more of those back online. Welcome to the Redeeming Features Irredeemable Christmas special. I got that right.
Yes,
I think so.
unfortunately, Trevor, you were correct.
Yeah, it's been a while. I don't even know did we do one last year? I don't know
I'm
if
not
we
sure. Honestly,
did.
Trevor, after the way 2020's gone, you could be forgiven for thinking it's been 20 years. So
Yeah, that is very, very true. So if you are a long-term fan, thanks for sticking around through all the bollocks. Actually, we're not recording officially yet, so I can say what I fucking well like. Thanks for dealing with us through all this bullshit and fuck knuckly buggery shittery. And yeah, welcome to the new world.
yes, and we're here still giving you bad movies, whether you like it or not. So we seem to remain unscathed, with many more options to go for. But when Trevor suggested we had to do another Christmas one, I think, yeah, it seems only fair, only traditional.
And the good thing about this one is a nice short one, so no interminable Emmanuel Lewis, Mr. T, or Grumpy Cats, or just Star Wars adjacent bollocks. You know, it's to the point and done.
Oh yes. Always helps, and it's been hard this year getting into the whole Christmas spirit. I know it's kind of we're halfway through December now, and I'm already like, oh, that's right, it's Christmas time. So, hey, if we watch a Christmas special, whether it's good or bad, it helps get us in the spirit. So thank you for suggesting. I think.
Yeah, that's all good. I mean, it's just like it's what it is, and it's our little present to ourselves. Now, normally we'd also do like a bit of a wrap up of the year and talk about our favorite and least favorite movies that we've watched, but I had a quick peek and we've got a grand total of 3 movies out under the Redeeming Features podcast banner, and one of those was the last one we recorded, which I just cut down to the bare fucking minimum.
Hey Trevor, I've already forgotten what the movie was.
How can you forget Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow?
Oh, I thought it was. I think to say, "Dude, where's my car?" But I must be one ahead of myself.
Yeah, well,
Sky Captain. Oh yeah. So I don't think we'll do our best and worst of the year. I can barely even remember the 3 that we had. So how do we go when we
striptease, next best thing, and Dude, where's my car?
Oh my God, what a horrible year. 2020 hasn't been the best, has it? No spoilers. Everybody go and check out these podcasts if you haven't already, because I don't know if I'm giving too much away, but I can't remember liking them too much, but we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, honestly, Dude, Where's My Car wins by default by just being a little bit funny.
Even I think you just saying out of all the titles, I'm like, yeah, that one sticks in memory as being somewhat redeemable. But God, striptease anyway.
Okay. I think we should probably move on to our actual recording time. Very exciting.
Yeah, a good segue to Christmas from striptease, but we'll do it, I think.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure maybe if it was successful, Demi Moore would have done a striptease Christmas special.
Hey, it could be on the cards.
Yeah, let's hope not. Okay, so okay, so we'll go through. I've got like a bit of a intro ready to go here, and we'll just kind of like leave room for theme music and stuff and get on with discussing this Christmas special. So, Christian, are you ready?
I am ready, Trevor. Ready as I'll ever be.
Yeah,
I think.
Ready as you can be, yep. Okay, here we go. And action. Christmas 1982. Moviegoers were enjoying 48 Hours and the Dark Crystal. People were dancing to the chart-topping tune, Mickey. And those looking for family-friendly entertainment were gathered around their TV sets, ready for the Hanna-Barbera production, Christmas comes to Pac-land. We shall discuss that more after the theme. And this is where I put in the theme and put the over the theme.
Trevor will do the
Theme.
Trevor only does our themes the best. They are the best.
Yeah, really. Okay.
Moving
Moving right along. Let's not talk about my themes.
Better than what I could do, Trevor.
Well, if you can get like a good audio filter to cover over your lackluster singing voice, then you can make anything sound decent, all from the 1940s. Either way works. Okay, cool.
Me, so.
All good. Okay, that's probably enough time for the theme. Give myself less editing later. Okay, so all right. Hello and welcome to the Rufus Project. Fuck.
You can call it that if you want.
We're not the Rufus Project podcast anymore. Okay, let's try this again.
I don't think that's going to go over well.
Yeah, I mean, we apparently have a viewer too, which I'm very quite concerned about. So if the viewer wants to make comments, I can do things and stuff like that as well.
We promise not to swear too much more.
Yeah, we're trying to swear for the podcast itself. We're trying to keep the podcast PG, but for this stuff, it's anything goes. Let's try this again, shall we?
Anything can happen,
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Hello and welcome to the Redeeming Features Irredeemable Christmas Special. This time going all the way back to 1982 to check out Christmas Comes to Pac-land.
Ooh. And I was about a month old, Trevor, so I don't think I got a chance to watch it. But yeah, it was just funny. As you said, the intro, I'm like, this sounds so familiar. Mickey, all these other things. I'm like, hang on. But yes, I cannot remember watching this the first time round. So thanks for bringing to my attention 38 years later.
Yeah, that's just, you've made me feel so old now, Christian.
I've probably made a lot of people feel old, and I feel bad.
It's all good. It's all good. And look, that's fine too, because honestly, we can probably waffle a bit about this, because normally with this, we try to bring up trivia, we try to bring up stuff. The only trivia I could find about this one was that there was another podcast that once did an episode about it. So there we go. Yep. We're joining a very exclusive podcast crowd here.
I'm glad I didn't listen to that beforehand. But actually, Trevor, while we would be on a trivia section, I'm not knowing too much about. Obviously, I know the Pac-Man game, but I wasn't aware that I believe there was a Pac-Man series around this time through Hanna-Barbera seemed to come up in the credits. So I'm assuming there had been a Pac-Man TV show for a couple of years before this came along. I probably should have done my research, but I thought you'd be the one to ask.
Indeed, there was a Pac-land TV series. There was even a Pac-land game.
I see.
Where you took Pac-Man through Pac-land.
It was quite weird, actually. It's so strange seeing Pac-Man without being in some kind of maze situation. So, the fact that they had their own land, I'm like, wow. So when you suggested this, I thought, yeah, this possibly is something that I wasn't aware of. But again, being a month old, I probably wouldn't have known. But yeah, no, that gives me a bit more of an insight. But Hanna-Barbera, I was surprised that they were behind the making of this.
I think if Hanna-Barbera thought they could make a buck from the sponsors, they'd do just about anything.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it seems like every show, no matter what, even if it's a small series or a big, seems to end up having a Christmas special. So when you suggested this to me, I was like, wow, there's actually a Pac-Man Christmas thing. But I can understand, if there was a series, there would have been a Christmas episode, hence what we've got.
Yeah, and also like tucks in with my little penchant of using computer game based TV and movies in our podcast, so everyone's happy.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it actually, one thing that actually stood out to me, and I'll say this while I think off the top of my head, can't believe they've never thought try a Pac-Man live action movie. Not even a live action, but a Pac-Man movie. It's funny that that's what I thought when I was watching this. I'm like, that seems like something Hollywood would have tried to cash on. They're going to cash in on. They're doing a Tetris movie, for God's sake.
Well, there was Pixels, which had quite an extensive
yeah.
Pac-Man scene.
Yeah, interesting concept. Don't know if it was executed the best way, that movie, but
put it this way, it would probably qualify for our podcast, but I would rather not revisit it. Let's just put it that way.
Let's leave that alone. But we're sort of in the same territory. That was a weird segue. But
it was. But even I have my limits, you know. I do have my limits, believe it or not.
Viewers are kind of understanding my limit of Pac-Man knowledge. So, and that's another thing about watching this special. I even had to Google this, Trevor. I was not aware that Pac-Man or man or, you know, the Pac people were able to eat ghosts. But I had to find out about the power pellets, which you're probably thinking you didn't know about the power pellets. But yeah, that's kind of that led to a bit of confusion with watching this special, but because that seems to turn up quite a lot. But now that I know that Pac-Man can actually chomp the ghost, if I want to use the term that they use a lot in the special. Now that's put a lot of things in perspective for me.
Yeah. Well, we might as well got no reviews. All the reviews were kind of like essays for some stupid reason. So I was thinking, not going down there. So we probably should just talk about this. And you're right, they are obsessed with chomping in the special. Every second word was like, "I'm going to chomp you. We're going to chomp. Don't get chomped. Oh, you're going to get chomped."
But they almost brought it in like it was going to be this tagline: "Prepare to be chomped," you know, like all this sort of stuff. And that's the thing that I was a bit confused about. Actually, you'll be able to. It might have just been the copy I was listening to, but I swear they said Ghostbusters a few different times. But I think they were saying Ghost Chompers. You might be able to fix this for me, but I'm sure the baby Pac-Man said Ghostbusters at one stage, and I got really excited. But I think they might have been saying Ghost Chompers.
Probably, honestly, that baby Pac-Man, I couldn't understand everything that little thing said, and what I could understand is just like, I did not add anything, or it just makes me want to see the ghosts get the baby Pac-Man.
I'm already opening a whole can of worms. I'm just mortified that the Pac people have Pac babies. But anyway, we'll leave that to it. That was what I was more mortified about. But I just love how this Pac baby. It just sounds like they were calling a rapper. Like the name of a rapper or something like that. And then I think they said the mum was called, I think she said Pepper, her name was. And I think they just called the dad Packy, which is funny. And I think a bit later on, they had that shot of the policeman, and I was like, oh, please call them a Pac-leaseman. But it didn't happen. It was a wasted opportunity.
It was officer something or other, officer something boring, you know.
Yeah, wasted opportunity there.
But
I do wonder if this would have had more context for me or for both of us, if having seen the TV series. I don't know if obviously this is a Christmas special, but not knowing sort of enough about the Pac-Man characters away from the game, I'm sure it would have made a lot more sense, you know, sort of the adventures they get into. But what I always find really funny about these sort of things is how, and I've noticed in a few movies like this or shows like this where they've never heard of Christmas before, but one of them starts singing Christmas songs. The first mention of the ghosts is them singing Jingle Bells, and then we find out the Pac-land has never heard of Santa Claus or Christmas. I was a bit confused.
Yeah, they had their own little weird thing about, you know, Jingle Bells or chomping we will go, something like that.
Yeah. Oh, there's the chomping again.
yeah, chomp addicts. But yeah, and then the chomping assistance was the chopping obsession was just I actually found it kind of disturbing, almost like it was their sexy play. Oh, let's get chompy. Ooh.
Yeah, and it seemed to be such a big thing. Even from the very first moment we see the Pac baby, not a rapper, they were pretty much what I think she was making. They were making ghosts, like snowmen, I suppose.
Mm.
And you got to practice your chomping, like pretty much from the outset. It's quite strange. But I suppose when you think about it, Trevor, what else do Pac-Men do than,
Yeah.
than eat things and try and avoid ghosts? So I suppose there wasn't too much. Again, this is probably something that would have had more context if I'd seen the TV series. It makes me then wonder, what else do they do on the TV show?
Yeah, I've had very, very vague memories of maybe seeing this show a long time ago, and I to be honest, I don't think there was really a great deal beyond an excuse to have the pack people in peril from the ghosts, and then they find power pellets. Like, like when having the bloody snowball fight in this one, and instead of throwing snows, the obligatory extra dopey ghosts throws power pellets at the pack people, and it's just like
chomp,
chomp,
them
chomp.
touching them all, like
yeah.
And that's the interesting thing. Oh, sorry, go.
Yeah, and then like after they do all the chomping, it's like the thing from the game where you see the eyes and the eyes go flowing off, and that's all it takes to spook Santa's reindeer. Flying while they're flying over Pac-land, an area he's never heard of before. You're flying over it, dude. You've got computer assistance. He had a computer guidance system in his sleigh.
I thought for 1982, Santa was pretty advanced. Like, obviously, he's going to have to need some kind of device like that, especially nowadays. But I was impressed that he had it back in the 80s.
Well, I guess it was the 80s, so it didn't have everywhere saved to it. Obviously, it didn't have all the memory to save everywhere in the world. So, Pac-land wasn't included because it's full of chomping obsessed maniacs who probably, if all you want to do is chomp everything around you, you probably don't make it to Santa's nice list.
Yeah. But the interesting thing about movies where they've done a lot of specials like this, where it's always Santa landing somewhere and these people have to help him get out of a spot, and you just think it's always so close. I think in this movie it was all like, oh, you're close to your deadline at midnight, and I'm thinking to myself, what? Santa has the midnight deadline? Oh my God, give him to at least 4 o'clock to finish his round. That's a lot of Earth to do. But it's always, and then I think at one stage, sorry, I know we're jumping all over the place, but at one stage they're like, oh, you've only got 3 minutes to go before we save you, But it's always like these specials have to be Santa or Christmas finding this land that had never heard of Christmas before, but suddenly they love the idea of getting presents and everything like that. So, but I actually, we were talking about the ghosts, and I do like the stupid guy. I do appreciate how the ghosts did sort of have their own sort of characters. You kind of had I think the female ghost that was kind of the one going, not the one in charge, but the one kind of bringing the other 3 idiots in line. So it was and there was that whole, I don't know why they wasted so much time on this, but a section where they're all getting ready and they're trying to, what does he do? Puts some sort of invisibility thing on one of the ghosts to try it out. But I can understand they were trying to make this a 22-minute special, so they were probably already running out of ideas, but so there wasn't too much to happen. But no, I appreciate that the ghosts were kind of given those characters, and it makes sense because then I suppose you don't want the pack people to be people that are necessarily seen as always in peril. Like, you've got stupid ghosts, so the pack people are always going to win. I don't know. Yeah. It seems to be the way. Probably was the way of the series as well.
Yeah, I'll tell you what though. I mean, the pack people definitely had the advantage because when Pac-Man finally did get chomped when he was trying to retrieve Santa's toy sack, because that can be dropped when Santa crashed into Pac-land. Actually, when they were picking up the toys and stuff like that, I saw a game called Game. I don't know if that was a computer game or a board game, or what. It was just a game called Game. I mean, that would have been a perfect marketing opportunity. But I digress.
Yeah, exactly. But actually talking about that, like when they found, how Santa, I love how they go, oh, it must be a UFO, and it's just Santa and all the reindeers like planted somewhere. But there was something quite disheartening about seeing these almost dead reindeers. Like, I don't know. As a child, it would have seemed a bit disheartening. I don't know. It just seemed like there was no hope. But maybe they were just kind of showing that they need to come to Pac-land to make everything better. But yeah, it is interesting how as I say, they'd never heard of Christmas, but as soon as all the presents and prizes, I mean, presents and toys and all that came out, everyone became so eager, and the ghosts seemed pretty keen on that too.
Yeah. They didn't want Pac-Man stealing the toys they found. So, and that's what I noticed. They actually managed to chomp Pac-Man, and he didn't really seem to be all that badly affected. It was a whole thing about saying, "Oh, I don't know if I can make it back." He made it back without an issue, really. He made
Maybe
the
that's making
interesting.
kids not feel so bad about when you
Hmm.
kill Pac-Man. When
Yeah.
Pac-Man
Okay. Yeah.
dies, I don't know.
Yeah. He should have gone. Wow, 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 wow.
So many ways
And,
to upset these.
yeah, but mind you, he picked. I don't know if going via the cliff was a good way to get back to Packtown. He go like, they see Packtown, they go, "Oh, there it is, we're almost there," and they're bloody on top of a cliff that crumbles underneath them. Thinking, what was your plan here, Pac-Man?
Yeah, exactly. Maybe they thought they were going to fly through. I don't know.
Yeah, it really did not make a lot of sense, and everyone's
Again, there was a lot of parts in this where it just felt like they were trying to make it a Christmas special or try to give it some kind of substance. And again, they were, even for a 22-minute special, they were still sort of struggling to get there. Because it's interesting, aside, obviously, you've got the Santa part there, but if you hadn't had the introduction of Santa, there's not really much Christmas. I suppose they'd never discovered Christmas in Pac-land, but there really isn't much Christmas stuff going on. It seems to be that, yeah, I don't know. Aside from the jingle bells, which apparently they shouldn't have heard of before, but I don't know. I just felt it was lacking in that respect, but I suppose they hadn't discovered Christmas, so that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, it did give Santa an excuse to give them what felt like a bloody 10-minute lecture on Christmas, and they cut away from it, and he comes back and he's still talking about the spirit of Christmas. It's like, okay, cool, you got to crowbar that in there.
And I think there's even a bit later on, not as long, but where even the ghosts go, "What's Christmas?" and they start explaining. You're like, "No, we've already had that."
Yeah,
but I love how it's like going back a bit earlier, but I love how when it crashed, and instead of say, obviously they ended up saving the reindeer and all that sort of stuff, but I love the first thing that you have to go and have some power pellet cocoa. It seems to, because Santa's got time to put his feet up in front of the fireplace. Like, is it time's money, dude?
Yeah, I mean, between the chomping and the power pellets, let's face it, the power pellets are basically speed. I mean, that's pretty much how they're represented here.
How much do they want to refer to these? They're so they use the power pellet. That's what I mean. Like, I was like surprised. I had to Google it again, as I said, power pellets, because not being aware of so much of was in the game, and I'm like, yeah, they're using this as much as they can in the special. So.
But yeah, between the fetish of chomping and the drugs of power pellets, I don't know if this is actually appropriate for children.
Well, actually, yeah, the next thing I want to say, I don't know if this part's appropriate for children, but there was one line where one of them goes, "Let's chomp on his balls," and I left it alone.
Yeah, I guess they're going to throw in something for the adults, but
especially how, like, pretty much at the end, I know the ghosts end up wanting to start chomping again, but just before that they go, "We're gonna not chomp." When the ghosts say, "We're not going to chomp you guys until after Christmas," and I'd just be worried about after Christmas they're going to eat me, but no, it's all right. Christmas, we don't have to worry about it.
That's right. There's Christmas, and then there's everything else which you worry about later.
Yeah, this new holiday or this new thing that this new festive season that they've heard about, but we'll take it on board.
Yeah, and look, despite the fact that Santa never heard of this place he was flying over and crashed into, when it came time for the presents to turn up, he had presents for all of them, even the ghosts.
Oh, I know. And they all seemed quite surprised at how keen they were to get those presents for people that had no idea what Christmas was.
Yeah. I mean, if you're mortal enemies and you handed a box wrapped up, you don't know what's in there. I mean, personally, I wouldn't trust it.
Trevor, I'll only take it if it says game.
Yeah. Oh, if you got to give me game. Oh.
Excuse me. Yeah, only if it says what it is inside.
Yeah. Give me game and perhaps, a nice box of chocolate. Actually, that's a lot of things just say chocolate. That doesn't work at all.
No. If it was in this special, it'd be chomplets.
Oh, yes, very, very true. Power candy.
Yeah, well, they made sure they got a few puns like that in. So,
Yeah,
but
they
I
wanted
do,
people.
but I'll never forget, Trevor, in history. I'll never forget that time when Santa was lost in Pac-land, and a lot of people's presents were late. It'll go down as a really big year.
Yeah, 1982. It was just, we almost lost Christmas thanks to
I'm
Pac-land.
interested to know. I'm interested to know if he's been going back to Pac-land ever since, because
Yeah.
that's a sequel special waiting to happen.
Yeah, well, I do have some thoughts on that, to be honest. So
Yeah.
I really don't know if there's much more we can say about this. It's just
I've gone
like,
through all my notes if that helps.
yeah, I'm no way I'm going to recap this bloody thing. Okay, well, Christian, I did suggest this Christmas special quite recently. So, what would you say your takeaway thoughts are from this festering thing?
Okay, well, I think being the length it is, and probably the lack of, as I was saying before, it's not overly festive in a way. Like, obviously you've got Santa being lost, but if you want to watch something where it's ho ho ho, Christmas songs the whole way through, and something that really raises the spirit of Christmas, I don't really think this would suit. But hey, for gamers, that I'm sure gamers out there would be more knowledgeable than me and know about the Pac-Man TV series. But if you're aware of the Pac-Man TV series and are interested to see something like this, I would say check it out. But Trevor, I don't know. It didn't have enough oomph as a Christmas special to really recommend it as being iconic of the season. So I don't know.
Oh, this is an
I know
irredeemable Christmas special. You don't
I
need to
know we
redeem
don't
it.
have to redeem this, but yeah, no, I did watch it. It's only 22 minutes, but it's not going to change your life. We've seen this plot before. The whole Santa gets lost in some land, they help him. I think it was a plot of Santa Claus conquers the Martians as well, and then things always end up working themselves out as well. So that'll be another year we'll watch. But yeah, that's probably my thoughts on this, Trevor. But yeah, I think there's better Christmas specials out there that you could spend your time watching.
I think I enjoyed Grumpy Cat more than this one. Yeah, look, it was.
Sorry.
All good. That's all good.
Yeah.
Oh, look, this was a predictable by the numbers Christmas cartoon, and well, thank fuck it was short. I do have a theory as to why Santa had never heard of Pac-land before. Really, as it went on and more things happened, I got the feeling that maybe Pac-land was the result of hell freezing over. And the actual tormented souls were the ghosts. They're the one that seemed to be getting all the punishment. And even when they got some back, it didn't really affect the others all that much. So this cartoon could well be renamed Santa Goes to Hell.
Oh my God, Trevor, I love that.
Perfectly. Yeah, that's basically all I got.
God, I wonder if that other podcast found something so deep as that.
I don't know. And frankly, once we wrap this up, I'll be moving on and never looking into this horrible Christmas cartoon again.
Oh, exactly. Until next year when we find something else. But yeah, there's not too much more we can say. I think short and sweet, and yeah, you've kind of got our thoughts from that, everybody.
Absolutely. Okay, cool. Well, that's yet again we picked a Christmas special that was indeed irredeemable and had a fun time not bothering to redeem it. There's a little Christmas present to ourselves.
Yes.
And it's a nice way to round out the year. So I do know at the end of our last podcast, Christian, you did suggest The Adventures of Pluto Nash.
Yes,
so,
we still haven't watched it. Oh my gosh, it seems like so long ago now.
Yeah, so that I guess is going to be our first episode for the new year.
Don't hate me just yet. I said 2021's going to be off to a good start, hopefully.
So yeah, we are working at bringing you stuff more regularly, more often after this insane year. So yes, we just hope that you all have a very happy festive season a great new year, and we will be back with more cool stuff for you. Christian, anything you want to mention?
Nothing on the cards as yet, but just head to christianfletcher.com for all your entertainment needs whenever they come back. So we'll hopefully have some more in the next couple of months. But in the meantime, we're kind of on 2020 detox, I think, at the moment.
Indeed. And of course, keep an eye on the Rufus Project Presents at rufusproject.com. And if you're not already, please consider joining the Rufus Project Presents Patreon. I do have a few things I would like to do and get done. So I'm hoping that, we're building up a bit of a balance there. So I'm hoping I can actually use some of that in the new year to bring some cooler stuff to you. But you know what? It'd be a lot quicker if we had more Patreons.
Yes. Get your friends to subscribe.
Yes, indeed. Say, pay money for this obscure thing. And we can be like a hipster thing or something. I don't know. Is that how that works?
Underground.
Underground. There we go. Yeah. This cool thing.
But not so underground that no one's heard of us.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, well, yep, keep an eye on the Roofs Project. We've still got What the History. I'm hoping to get another one of those out before the end of the year. I'm going to get some more of the old Roofers Project podcasts back on the Roofers Project flashback stream. I do have a bunch of Hypershite videos recorded for our Patreon subscribers. I just got to actually put them up on the site. But on that note, thank you again for joining us to discuss this questionable Christmas special.
And hopefully your Christmas is better than the specials that we seem to be not redeeming.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the point. Anyway, have a lovely festive time, and we will see you or talk to you or whatever we're going to do in the new year. So farewell.
Cool. See ya.
And I guess that wraps it up. So now we're just back to
I'm glad we didn't have to talk too long about that.
Yeah, now we're back to exclusive Patreon stuff. Because it's a live on the Patreon page. Hey, Patreons, you get to pay extra for this waffly bullshit.
Even though my waffling will be like, I gotta go soon.
Yeah, no, that's all good. I think we probably will be wrapping this up very, very soon. So
I'll chat to you. I'll chat to you and Suze before Christmas and stuff. Not that I get too into Christmas, but before the whole year wraps up.
Yeah, all good. But yeah, look, I do want to take the time to say a special thank you to our patrons. We really do appreciate your support so much. And
thank you so much for sticking with us and our obsessions, and and a big hand to Trevor, who puts so much work into putting the Rufus Project in all capacities, the history, redeeming features, irredeemable features. He puts so much work into it, so I think he definitely deserves a round of applause. So a round of applause from around the world at the moment. So thank you, Trevor.
From our tons of fan. Tons of fan. All good. Okay, well, I think we should probably wrap up this live stream, and we will have more stuff coming.
Yes, definitely.
Yay. Okay, so I can hit this end broadcast button. So we'll say everybody else will disappear, and it'll just be you and me, Christian, so we can really.
Oh yes.
Yes. Okay.